Hello and welcome, students. We are going to take a look at section 3B notes on rigid transformations. This is how to map shapes on a plane without having to do it with specific numbers necessarily, but how you can just describe kind of start and finish locations. I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this, just like it asks you to when you first open it up. And throughout this, we're going to be using a geometry tool. So I'm going to open that geometry tool here as well so that we can see it. And let's take a look at our first thing. For one-step transformations, what we're trying to do is identify, is it a translate, a rotate, or a reflect? So in this one, I see that these are kind of like a sliding type shape. So that would be a translate. And all I have to do is say that it's going to translate from point A to point A prime with the like apostrophe there. And it doesn't necessarily matter that I chose A. I could have said B, but if I want to go from B at the beginning, then I have to end at B prime. So what I'm trying to do is start and finish those. Here's what that kind of looks like with this kind of transformation here. So it's saying that I start at B and end at B, or I start at A and end at A, or I start at C and end at C prime. So A to A prime, B to B prime, and C to C prime. So let's look at the next one. This one is not a slide. It looks like either some kind of reflection or rotation. So I'm going to go back and see if I can replicate what's happening there. If I click on this bottom dot here, it will allow me to change some things. I think it's a rotation, and it looks kind of like this picture here. So I'm rotating around C. C does not move. That's kind of like my center of rotation. So I'll check mark rotation around center C, point C, until, now here's how we describe rotations with mapping, talking about the parts of these shapes. We're going to say until segment AB overlaps. So what's AB going to overlap? It's going to overlap A prime, B prime. So here's one way to kind of see that happening. I'm going to rotate it where that segment AB there rotates until I hit A prime, B prime. Now I could have said segment BC is going to line up with B prime, C prime. I could have also said that AC is going to line up with A prime, C prime. So it's just kind of starting and finishing at the corresponding pieces until it overlaps with segment. AB is going to be A prime, B prime. Now we've done translate, we've done rotate. What's left is a reflection. And all I have to do is describe what direction or what line is it reflecting over. So that's this middle line in this case. It looks like it's going over BC. If I wanted to see that in my picture, I could change this rotate to a reflect. And right now it says reflect over BC. That looks correct. It's like reflecting over BC. Yep, there we go. In fact, I think it's kind of shown more like this. So it's reflecting across over that line BC. So we're going to say it's a reflection over BC. Now I have a lot of empty space, like all these other things are empty, and that's because I'm only doing one-step transformations. As I look at the other ones, we're going to do a combination of two of the steps. So in this first one, we're going to look at translate and rotate. So I'm going to match with this thing, translate, then rotate. And let's see if we can kind of get it to look similar. So I have A, B, C. And I'm going to rotate not around C this time, but it looks like around A. There we go. And that picture does look a lot like what we have. So again, it's going to translate from like B to B prime, or A to A prime, or C to C prime. And then it's going to rotate around that A prime. So it's kind of like 2 steps there. 1 and 2. So first we're going to translate from point A. Well, let's choose a different one. Let's say from point C to point C prime, C apostrophe. Around, now our center of rotation is going to be around A. So we're going to rotate around A. Actually, I should say around A prime, because A is down here. Until we got to pick a pair of matching segments. Until segment, let's say AC, or A prime, C prime, that's the purple ones, overlaps with segment A double prime, C double prime. Okay, so that's how we would see a translate and rotate. Let's try a translate and reflect. So if I go back to my tool and click to the next one, this is a translate and then a reflect. It's going to translate there and then reflect across. And this one looks like it's reflecting across AB. So we're going to, there we go. That looks more like the shape. So it's going to transfer over there and then reflect. That's the kind of motion that we're looking at. So we're going to translate from points. What's our start and finish points? They just have to match. That's all that matters. Let's say B to B prime, B apostrophe there. We're going to skip rotations, so that's not happening. And now we're going to reflect. And the line on which the purple and red are reflected over, so it's going to be reflected over segment A prime, B prime. Those are the 2 points on the end of this. I could have said A double prime and B double prime, but we'll leave it for that. Ooh, this next one. So we're going to go to purple first and then to red. Let's see how we can get that. This is going to be a rotate and a reflect. So I'm going to change to rotate and reflect. That's a pretty similar picture. And so I'm going to wind up rotating around that point A and then reflecting over AB, or A prime, B prime. So we're going to rotate around point A, is our middle there, until, okay, let's pick a couple of segments that are supposed to line up. And it's pretty easy because they're kind of the same things. Let's try B, C this time. And those are going to need to overlap. B double prime, C double prime. And our reflection is now going to be over this shared line between the purple and the red, and that happens to be over the segment A double prime, B double prime. There we go. Our final stage is a 3-step. Let's see what that would look like. So I'm going to remove all these steps here. We'll make our picture look a little bit easier to understand. So we're going to first translate. We got to pick a couple of points that match for our start and finish. So like A to A prime. Then we're going to rotate. So now I'm looking at from purple to red. So when I rotate, I'm going to rotate from purple to red. And that was around point A for that second part. So that's around point A, but it's actually going to be A prime because we're on that second stage. Now we have to figure out a couple of segments that are going to overlap, some matching segments. Let's try AC. What does AC match with? A double prime, C double prime. That's our rotation. And then we'll finish with the reflect. And our reflect is going to be over one of the segments. In this case, it's the red turning on to the green, and that's our third layer of this transformation. And that's going to go across A double prime, B double prime. You could have called it a lot of other segments, but it's proper to say A double prime, B double prime. There we go. So kind of a quick short video. This is easy when you have tools that are set up to do it for you, but it's all about identifying what did the transformation look like and trying to connect those corresponding pieces like C with C prime. In some of your exercises and other questions, it won't be as obvious where it has the apostrophes there to just match the letter easily. Sometimes your additional triangles will have some different letters.